back to this family stuff.
I think Rich rejoined us.
Yep, I appreciate. Uh-oh.
Oh, he's restarting.
Okay, looks like we just lost Rich.
Yeah, I think he said he's going to be back.
Okay, awesome. Okay, we're going to call the meeting to order. It's 6:01 p.m. And we do have a quorum, so I appreciate that. We got Joe Jean, Justin, and myself here, and we had Rich. He'll be back here in a second, I hope. So the first item on tonight is item number 1. It's approval of the October 2022 meeting agenda. That's our meeting for tonight. Any concerns, discussions, comments? Joe Jean, are you with us?
Yeah, I just don't have a picture and I have no idea why.
Well,
But that's okay. You don't have to see me. I'm here.
I'm going to go with your JJ. I like the acronym JJ. So if we're okay, can I get a motion to approve the
I'll move to approve.
okay, that's Justin.
I'll
And,
second.
and Joe Jean for the second. Okay, it's been approved unanimously. Okay, item number 2 is 52 Windward Drive, tree trimming removal request. Any comments, concerns, or questions?
I'll move to approve.
Yep, I would second that. I have no problem with it. I thought everything was fine. Justin, do you have any concerns?
No.
Yeah, and they already have the permit, so
Yeah, so that's going to be Joe Jean for the motion, Keith for the second. That's approval, and that's unanimous for item number 2, 52 Windward Drive. And that is something too. I talked to Deb today, just so we know that like all tree trimming and things like that, there's automatic verbiage on our forms that require the county permit. So we're going to make sure, but I do want to get that on the letter that goes out to the people saying, hey, you've been
I
approved.
have to go talk, answer my telephone.
Say that again.
I think Joe Jean needs to answer her telephone.
Hello.
Keith, there's also we do have one attendee who's joined us at this point.
Okay, who is that, John?
I have a last name of Zelinska. I can bring them over here to.
Thank you. Yeah.
Can you hear me now, John? Oh, there it is.
Yep, we can hear you.
Sorry.
All right. I brought John over to the meeting. If you could let us know what property you're here for.
Hi, can you guys hear us?
Yes.
Sure can.
Yeah. What address are you here for? What property address?
19 Rocky Ridge Drive. And apologies, it's a very late submission for a new roof request.
Yes, my name is Agnieszka. My husband's name is Terry Kahanawalt, and we're very happy to have moved to Sudden Valley. And so our roof it's leaking and it needs a new roof. And so we just today, after searching for 3 weeks for bids, we just today heard from a reputable firm. When we send you a form, Deb, we send it to you today. And so the roofer from Topside Roofing wants to do a roof, and he's saying he can do it in 2 weeks, which is unheard of. He wants to do a metal. He wants to do a metal roof, which we requested, and we want to go for something that fits the community. We don't want to stand out in any way whatsoever. So just a standing seam metal roof in, I don't know, gray or a green color, or whatever color you guys prefer. We just want a new metal roof over our heads sooner than later. So we are just rushing here because we've rushed in this form, sent it to Deb, and we're hoping that you can be so kind and consider this so that we could begin work in 2 weeks.
Okay, so here's the deal. You are not on our agenda tonight, but that being said, so your existing roof right now, is it composition roof? Is it shake? What is your existing roof?
It's a composition roof.
And you're going to go with a metal roof replacement?
Yes,
Standing seam metal roof?
yes.
What's the current color? I would,
There you go. Good.
Yeah, I think it's
It's-
black charcoal, it's
Yeah.
asphalt.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And what are you going to replace it with?
we're very happy to let you guys pick the color if it makes this thing go faster, really.
We've been looking at some darker grays.
Yeah.
If, that there's like a common kind of I don't know what you'd call it, like a brick red roof that
Like
you
a
see a lot of.
terracotta.
But we're also, I know that there's some approved color schemes. And so we're going to try to, find something that matches there.
Yeah, I'm thinking tennis ball green is a
Oh,
good.
perfect.
Hey,
Love
so Rich and Joe Jean, so you guys are not on the agenda tonight, but we do have a thing where if you're doing like maintenance where you're replacing something that's existing with a like for materials, we wouldn't have a problem with that. You are replacing a composition roof with a metal roof, so technically you'd have to go through the process of submitting what you're doing, but I think Rich is headed where I'm headed here because we are headed upon the season here, and you do have a unique opportunity to get a roofer in there within 2 weeks, which is phenomenal.
Amazing.
Rich, what are you thinking?
yeah, I would, what I would just suggest, I'm okay approving it, assuming there's a copy of the request somewhere. And I would just add the comment, just go with a light color that's similar to the color you have there now.
Similar.
Not
Okay.
knowing the color of your house and everything, I don't want to make a decision for you. I would just say, use a similar color.
Will do, absolutely.
Hey, John, do you know if an application has been submitted for this?
Unfortunately, I don't, but it sounds like that they did it, from what they're saying, it sounds like it was submitted to Deb earlier today.
Yeah, okay. Okay,
Today.
and so Joe Jean, do you have any comments or questions, concerns? So take that as a no.
Here, let me see if I can help her out here. When she answered her phone, I muted her.
Oh, yeah, she's on her phone. That's right, And now it does say Joe Jean, not JJ.
Yeah, she may have had to step away briefly.
Yeah, so guys, so normally we would not do something like this, but what I do agree, we do have some storm weather coming in, and I'm on track with like what Rich is thinking here. As long as you have submitted that, so we would give you, I'm thinking, if I'm thinking what Rich is thinking, we would give you conditional approval, so you'd have approval as long as you have submitted the proper request, the application.
Excellent. We've sent it to Deb. She requested
Awesome.
it. We already talked with her 3 weeks ago, and we're so very grateful for this. And
Awesome.
we
Yeah.
will follow Rich's recommendation to go with like color.
Yes, so yes, that would be like our notes or comments. That would be one of the comments. So you'd have to have your request in, and you would be going with a like color. Hi, Joe Jean.
Hi.
Hi, have you been hearing all of this?
Unfortunately, I was talking to a company that
Oh,
misbilled me, and I thought my money was more important than the ACC. Sorry.
okay, no worries. So what we have here is we have a resident here that wants, they have a unique opportunity to have a roofer in here with a couple weeks to replace their existing composition roof with a standing seam metal roof. It's going to be a light color, either charcoal gray or something along those lines. They have submitted an application. It is not on our agenda, but they have called in as an attendee. And Rich and I were kind of like on the same track of thinking we would go ahead and approve it, even though it's kind of different, but we would do it because of the storm coming in and whatnot, and the chance to get the roofer in there, with the conditions that they have applied, sent the request in to Deb
Oh,
or John. And
what was the address? Wasn't it something on Rocky Ridge?
yes, it was. Can you give the address again?
Yes, it's 19 Rocky Ridge
Yeah,
Drive.
19.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it might have been the one we had on Rocky Ridge last time. I don't have a problem with the metal roofs. And if the color matches, the house or the neighborhood and stuff, I'm not opposed to it.
Okay. So we will go ahead and give that approval. I would call it tentative approval because we do have to see the form. And that way you guys can go ahead and get started, and then we'll please reach out to Deb and make sure she forwards that to us, and you guys should be good to go. Rich, did you have any other additional comments?
No, I'm good. That's perfect.
Okay,
So,
guys, thank you very much for joining us tonight. I appreciate it. It worked out to your benefit.
Thank you so very much.
much.
We'll
Yes.
leave now, and it's a pleasure to meet you. Have a good
Yeah,
night.
and welcome to the community.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so guys, on to then number 2. So that, John, any other attendees? I should ask you
That's-
first. That was
That's
it.
all of our attendees. Yep.
Okay, well, that was good. That worked out very nice. Okay, so item number 2 is 52 Windward Drive, and that was a tree trimming request.
I'll move to approve.
Yeah,
I would,
I think we already moved and seconded.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
okay, so that's been approved unanimous. Okay, number 3, Little Palomino Court, Gate 5, tree trimming and removal. They actually have 2 requests on the agenda tonight, so we'll do that one first and we'll jump to the second one. So the first one's a tree trimming and the second one is a exterior alteration.
I'll move to approve the first one.
Yep, I'll second.
Okay, that's Joe, Jean, and Rich, and that is unanimous. Okay, and then let's jump down to item number 7. It's the same address again, and this is for the exterior alteration request. And if I remember, this is for the stairs. Let me jump over there.
Oh, they want a new roof,
Oh, is this the roof?
Walk on the dog.
and I'll move to approve that.
Well, let me find it first, so I just make sure we're all on the same page. Shouldn't be that hard tonight, right? The packet's about like, what, an eighth of the normal size?
We can't find anything that's so short.
Okay, I got one more to go. Hang on, let me find it here just so we're all together. There we go. Oh, yes, yeah, that's right, the re-roof, yep. Okay, yep, I had no issues with that either. I had actually marked on here approved, so.
Yep, works for me.
Okay, so that would be item number 7, and who made the motion? Did we get a motion on that?
Oh, I can move to approve, or Joe Jean, it doesn't matter.
All right, we'll go with Joe Jean first. I saw her hand. We'll do Joe Jean and then Rich, and that'll be unanimous. Okay, let me do this check out here. Okay, on to item number 4, 82 North Point Drive.
Move to approve.
But
It's not 84, it's 82 North Point. Did I say 84? No, I said item number 4, 82 North Point. Okay.
the,
Go ahead, Rich.
yeah, the only question I have on this is they're saying they want to put the fence on the property line. We would need it to approve that, we need a variance for the portion of the fence that's on the property line. But having said that, I mean, the side of the, it's a 33-foot long fence and then 81 feet on the back line that's going to be on the property line. I mean, if we were to say that it needs to not be on that property line, I don't think 5 feet's going to affect it that much with a 33-foot long fence.
There's a,
Yeah, where do you see that it will be on the property line?
well,
Well, they described it in their little drawing. It says that it's going to be,
it is on the property line. I talked to the
Yeah.
guy about it, and there's green space behind,
Yeah, that little creepy thing.
and that's
Yeah.
why they were gonna put it there, because all these bushes and weeds and stuff are right up to the property line. And so that's why he there.
okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to it. I'm just, if they want to put it on the property line, they've got to do a variance request.
Yeah.
So you'd want to move to approve with the condition that they submit a variance request.
Yeah, and then they're also asking for a 6-foot tall fence versus a 5-foot tall. So they'd also need to do a variance for that as well.
Yeah, and they said that last foot would be like a decorative piece. I was wondering what that was meant. I thought I read that in there.
Yeah, it says they're requesting wooden wire with the top being decorative.
Yeah,
Decorative
top
top.
decorative railing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's very nice. They're obviously fixing up the property, which looks fantastic. So that's nice. So yeah, so I would have no problem with those two conditions. And so you want a variance for the 6 foot high. And do we want to know what the top decorative thing is, or does it matter?
I don't think it matters too much. I mean, it sounds like the wooden wire is a pre-approved design anyway.
Yeah.
I think it just, if they're gonna go that tall with it.
Yeah,
Um,
she told me that you were trying to keep the deer out,
And
but-
the only other question I have, and because I'm not an arborist or a horticultural specialist, but I've heard in the past that clematis is is that not a creeping vine that's sort of an invasive plant? And I've actually heard that, I could be wrong. I know it's a flowering plant, but I've heard that that's not a great plant to be in the Northwest, that it's invasive. I could be wrong.
That's good to know. And that's,
Yeah, and keep in mind, I live next to a road called Clematis, so I've heard that, and I'm not a specialist, so but I've heard that that's not a great one. The roadies, the dahlias, all that stuff, I know that stuff's okay. But I was under the impression that clematis is like a creeping vine that can be invasive.
yeah, see, we used to have a couple people on here that were like plant people, and they knew that stuff, and they could just offer up some nice ideas for people, and it was fantastic. And I'm not a plant person either. All I know is I shouldn't say it, some deer were eating out here tonight. It's a smorgasbord out front, and I had to maybe shoo them away peacefully. Right? I don't know. I can say, get out of here. Quit eating my plants.
So that I would just, as far as that's concerned, I would just make a recommendation that they check into that to make sure that
Yes.
it's not a bad thing to be planting. Especially with it being a green space behind it. If it were to sort of spread into a green space, then no one will be there to fix that issue.
Okay, so we want them to check into the clematis as an invasive species. Invasive species. And then 2, we want a variance.
Yep, just for the
The,
height and the property line.
Yep, for the property line, for fence on property line. Fence on property line. And then 3 would be the for the height variance from 5 foot, from 60 inches to 72 inches. A variance for that height variance request. And then so the motion, and your motion I would take would be move to approve with those 3 comments.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and that would be Rich. Could I get a second?
I'll second.
Okay, let me put it on the front sheet. And that's Rich. Yeah, I've been making all these notes, and I have to say I haven't been needing to. Deb's been doing great at doing all the note taking and everything off our videos. So that's been really good, but I've been making the notes just in case. All right, so that's been approved unanimously with those 3 comments. Okay, item number 5, 5 Fairway Lane, exterior alteration request.
I will move to approve. I don't have any problems with that.
I'll second.
Yep, and that is unanimous, and that is Rich and Joe Jean. And that's unanimous. Okay, item number 6, 9 Partridge Circle, exterior alteration request.
Well, that was just a roof, right?
It is.
Placing it with black, yeah, so I move to approve.
So
That'll be
the only comment I made to Deb on this, like when they intake stuff, it would be nice to know, like, we would get some spec sheet on it, so we know what they're doing,
Yeah, like a picture of the style.
Yeah, or at least a website. Hey, go to here. This is the one we're putting on our thing. So I mentioned that to Deb today. That's something that, but so I don't know who our ACC coordinator is yet. If we do have one, we don't have one. I'm not sure. But that kind of stuff is very helpful, and that
Yeah,
way
I would agree.
it knows it. We know. But
Yeah,
I'm like you. I would
it
move to.
should be, don't we ask for that when I thought that might be on the form, because just like we asked for a paint sample, isn't it on the form when they fill it out? Like, is there a recommendation or something to that effect? Because I remember seeing many pictures of different types of roofs.
Yeah, because I think we request them. I mean, this is the form you're looking at, so exterior alteration request, so it really doesn't say attach, any spec or anything like that. Normally, we just
Yeah.
ask for that. And then we've always had an ACC coordinator that, like a front,
Yeah,
window
it probably
person.
is like, hey, yeah,
Yeah.
can you do this?
Yeah, exactly. So they know
Well-
that, hey, make sure your address is up, make sure you got your fence line marked. Or,
And if they want a tree removed, they used to give them the yellow ribbon. And
yeah, ribbon it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyways, but yeah, so I'm on board with your approval of it, myself, but that was the only note I had on there. What kind of roof? What
Yeah.
thickness? Who's doing it? What is it,
Yeah,
I-
well, I mean,
I-
yeah, exactly.
I was gonna say, I have one question, and the house was red and they're putting a black roof on it. I
Yeah.
kind of thought that maybe a lighter colored roof would have been better, but I don't think that was just my opinion. You know how we differ with colors.
Oh, yeah, yeah, I mean, yeah, I figure it's already sort of dark gray, and most shingles are more of a charcoal black anyway.
Yeah, well, it looked like it was mostly covered with moss.
Yeah, yeah. I get the picture.
Any roof would be an improvement.
Mhm.
So if you're good with this, and I need to hear a motion on it, but like I say, in the future, I would really like to see a submittal of what you're actually intending to put as your roof.
Yeah, I think we can make that recommendation to the GM and staff, so that whoever's taking
Yes.
the form can say, hey, you'll need to submit, an example with this, so that they can understand what you're getting.
I made that recommendation today, but I'm not sure, like I said, we don't have an ACC coordinator currently, so nobody in that designated position, I guess. Should see it
Yeah,
to do it.
Isn't Deb our coordinator anymore, even half-time?
What's that?
Deb is not our coordinator?
Oh, no, so Deb's still, oh yeah, she's absolutely helping us. She's front window, but not necessarily designated like ACC coordinator. Technically, I was told we don't have an ACC coordinator. That's going to be a land use planner mixed in with the ACC thing. So we're still waiting to see that, but in the meantime, so yeah, I'm trying to get it I would love to see some verbiage put on some things that we automatically do. We don't need to say it every time, and stuff like that. And then that way they know to start wanting to ask for, when someone submits something, what do you need with it? Oh, make sure you attach this and this. And that way it just helps
Yeah, for
everybody
sure.
get through it, process quicker. But anyway, so in the meantime, so we are in, the motion on this was,
Approve.
yep,
so Joe Jean, that's a move to approve, and Rich for the second.
I'll second, yep.
And I would say on that one, that's a majority. I would say unanimous, but majority only because I want to start seeing people submitting what they're actually putting on, what they're doing. So.
So we don't show up and there's like a corrugated metal roof on a house.
But it's
Yeah.
got a standing seam, that's the problem I have with it. What is it, so,
Yeah,
that's where I think we need to be a little more careful, but, all right, so that's a majority. So that's how it works. So item number 7 is 3. Oh, we already did item number 7. That was with 3 Little Palomino up top. So, and that was approved. Item number 8 is 168 Harborview Drive. They have 3 requests on here. And,
Can I make a comment before?
sure.
I thought that looked just like the house on, was it Rocky Ridge last time? Remember the one that the steps were on the neighbor's lot? And the retaining wall is in the right of way. This place kind of looked like the same house on a different street.
It could be the same builder.
Yeah, but they have the same problems that the other house had with the retaining walls in the right of way.
Yeah, and this house, so first I did want to say this house is beautiful. So you did a really nice job, and this was a problem job. So this came up, and Rich, I think you were on the ACC when this job came up, and maybe I'm mistaken, but when this house came up, so this was a little problem job. And I think he did a great job with the situation he had there. The retaining walls look fine. The ACC at the time, if I recall, did approve everything and everything was fine. The maintenance supervisor at the time, I believe, approved the retaining wall and it wasn't a problem and actually needed. We actually recommended the retaining walls. The ACC did. So that's just my recollection of it. It might be different if you pull up a record, but that's what I recall of the situation. So I think it turned out really well. I think he did a great job with that property and the situation he was facing.
Yeah,
And so personally, I had no problem with all three requests. That's just me.
yeah, my only comment would be, I don't have any problem with the hot tub. I don't have a problem with the parking. The only thing is any retaining walls that are 4 feet and above need to have an engineering spec with them.
Yes.
And that's the only thing I would say, because it says it says the retaining wall blocks will be used. The wall is going to be to code. Retaining wall is about 4 feet. So if there's parts of it that are at that 48-inch mark, he'll need to submit like an engineering thing with it, especially if you're going to park cars on it. That's a lot of weight that you're putting up against.
Yeah,
a
and you know, I
stacked retaining wall.
didn't get out and measure it. I didn't have my measuring tape, to be honest. So
Yeah.
I didn't get out and measure it. And I looked at it and it's really close, right? And so I did a
Yeah.
retaining wall like that. You know, we've all done it, like really close to the 4 foot mark. And so came time of inspection, you put a little fill dirt, right? In that, in
Oh,
that
no,
area,
yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. And I'm just thinking, because this is specific for parking.
Yeah.
You know, if this was just holding back some soil with a couple of trees, okay, that's maybe not as, but I mean, those cars can get heavy, you know?
Yeah.
Someone
Yeah.
might
No,
pull a
no.
moving van in there and suddenly, you know, the whole wall collapses because of the weight of a U-Haul truck or something. So just, that's my only comment, is that just, if it's at that 48-inch, you really should have an engineering spec for it.
Yeah, well, the
to
retaining
go
wall,
along
but
with the
I agree with you 100%, but that retaining wall, so he's parking down on the flat surface that's flat with the road and the retaining wall is holding up the, you know, his hillside, but absolutely anything above 48 inches requires a permit. And so I have no problem with that, but we should go through each one at a time. And so let's take the first one is the 168.
I'll move to approve number 8,
And that one is the number 8.
just for the approval of the parking space.
Of the parking space. Yeah, I have no problem with that.
I'll second.
Joe Jean, you good with that?
Yeah, I'll second.
Okay, that's Rich and Joe Jean. Rich and Joe Jean, and that's unanimous. No problem with that either. Okay, number 9.
I'll move to approve 9. That's the hot tub with
Yeah.
all the correct permits, because it says he has permits.
Yeah, he said, that's what he said. So he's
Electrical
got
and
his
plumbing.
electric permit and was approved and it's already been obviously done. So
Did you guys climb back there to see if it was there? I looked up that hill and I said,
I
I'm
did
not going there.
I did a drive-by. I didn't
You
Yeah.
couldn't,
go up to see if it was there.
I have to be honest. So I lost my keys to the Jeep, right? And I take my Jeep out for these inspections. And so I went in my truck to look for the Jeep, and I'm on a little bit of hill, like everybody else, and I had my door open and I was leaning into the truck and the door slammed on my knee. And that's, it was horrible. And that was right before the inspections, right before I was going to go out and do the tour. So when I went over there and I looked up on the hill, I was like, I am not going up there. Yeah,
I
it
was going
it
up
was
there.
not good. But I appreciated the fact no one could really see up there anyways from the street or anywhere. So I was like, hey, I think that's totally fine too. So that was a Rich and Joe Jean as well. A move to approve on that one.
Yeah,
And that is unanimous. Okay, item number 10 is the third time requesting this retaining wall. A request to put the retaining wall in front of my house to create parking space. Retaining wall blocks will be used. The wall will be, or is to code. Retaining wall is about 4 feet. 4 foot something. 4 feet into
easement.
into easement and was prior approved. So that was approved prior, and I believe that was Darren who approved it, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was Darren who approved it. And like I said, it was per our request and it was needed, desperately needed there. So I have no problem with that, but we do want to make the caveat there that if it is above 4 feet, that it requires engineering and a permit.
Yep, and so I'll move to approve that with the comment.
So if above 4 feet requires,
I think it's 4 feet or above. I think if it hits
It
that
is.
48, you gotta have it.
that's correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. That's what it says. Yeah, 4 feet or above. That's why that fill dirt is so in demand. That's horrible to say. But anyways, it is true. And a couple inches is like, yeah, it should be all right. But okay, so great. So we're gonna move to approve that. That was Rich and Joe Jean, is that correct?
Yep.
All right, Rich and Joe Jean on that, and that is also unanimous with those comments. Okay. So that looks like it's it, unless you guys have anything else.
I have one thing I want to discuss, but it doesn't need to be part of the meeting.
Okay. It doesn't what need to be
It
recorded?
doesn't need to be recorded. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
We can't stop the meeting if we've only been here for 32 minutes. What am I gonna do the rest of the evening?
Yeah, well, this is good. That's why I like this time of year, right? Because it goes so wonderfully quick.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to adjourn this meeting. I'm gonna make the motion to adjourn the meeting at 6:32 PM.
Second.
6:30.